Every year, hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, struggle to pay their bills every single month. And so in today's video, we're going to look at the 6 practical ways that you can save more money and then ensure that you hit your goals at the end of the year. And of course, if you're new here, my name is Nana. I hold a master's degree in business finance. And on this channel, we discuss everything personal finance and personal development. And so without further ado, we come to the first point, and that is to track your expenses and then set realistic goals. So let's go with the first one, which is to track your expense. Now, the general idea or the rationale behind sitting down to go through your expenses for the month, or probably even for the previous year, is to give you a fair idea of what you spent your money on, and then subsequently it helps you to make an informed decision as to where your money is going and what you can do to cut down discretionary expenses. Now, secondly, what you need to do is to try as much as possible to budget or try and then minimize discretionary expenses that we've stated earlier. And the easiest way that you can go about this is to resort to what I call the 50-30-20 rule of budgeting, which helps you to apportion 50% of your basic income to your needs, 30% to your wants, and then 20% to either covering debts, investment, or probably saving. This is one of the surest and the fastest way for you to actually hit your financial goals, to save more and to invest at the end of the year. And so without further ado, we come to the second point, and that is to be bold and then ask for a better deal. So we all have subscriptions that we use, and including some that we don't even use. But one mistake that we mostly make is the fact that we really allow these subscriptions to roll over into the new year without even having to sit down and then peruse them. So one of the key ways that you can go about to ensure some savings in the form of your subscriptions is to call the companies and then ask for discounts, or probably if they are running any promotion that will save you tens at the end of the year, that would actually add on to the amount of money that you save or you invest at the end of the month. And so try as much as possible to phone your telephone companies or probably your broadband companies and then ask for a discount, because that would ensure that you're really using or getting value from the thing as much as you're spending less on that, which also leads more at the end of the month on the table to invest and then more importantly to save. Now, what you can also do is to subscribe to comparison platforms. What you can do is to compare the prices of maybe your broadband or your insurance at the end of the month. If you have any insurance companies out there or broadband companies or telephone subscriptions that are relatively cheaper but delivering the same level of value as you're currently enjoying, then it is time to switch in order to save. So some of these little things can actually be considered in order to have enough at the end of the month to save, and of course for investment, which also moves you several steps closer to the attainment of your overall financial goals at the end of the year. That leads us to the third decision that you can actually resort to in order to save more, and that is to cut your energy bills by making small changes. So one of the easiest ways to go about this is to turn down your thermostat by 1 degree Celsius. And according to research, that will save you in excess of £80 at the end of the year. Secondly, what you can do is to put appliances off on the wall as opposed to putting them on standby. According to research, that will save you in excess of £40. So just doing these two things can actually save you in excess of £120 at the end of the year. Now, thirdly, what you can also do is to try as much as possible to wash things in 30 degrees Celsius and not 60 degrees Celsius, because ordinarily when you wash at a lower temperature, it uses less electricity. And according to research, that can also save you in excess of between £27 and then £75. So holding all the factors constant, just by making these smaller changes just in your utilities can actually result in an excess of £150 being saved at the end of the year. That can actually help you by way of helping you to save more or to invest more at the end of the year, which also takes you several steps closer to the attainment of your financial goals at the end of the year. That leads us to the fourth thing that you can actually do in order to save more this year, and that is to plan at the supermarket. So one of the easiest ways to lose money according to research is food waste. And according to research, the average household in the US loses in excess of £1,500 every single year due to food waste. In the UK, the issue is no different. Families across board lose in excess of £500 every single year to food waste. And so what you can easily do to avert this canker is to try as much as possible to plan your meals every single week, and try not to buy groceries in bulk because of perishability. Try and then use groceries that you can in a day and then buy them and just consume them within the shortest possible time. That would actually reduce the cost or the wastage of food at the end of the year, which also leaves a lot of money on the table for you to invest or to save at the end of the year. Also, what you can do in order to save more when it comes to food is to try and then limit the amount of times that you eat out. Of course, I'm not saying that you cannot eat out with the family on special occasions like Christmas, on birthday, on anniversaries and all of those kind of stuff. Those are necessary stuff to keep the family going. But also, you need to consider the fact that research says that the average household in the UK spends anywhere between 1,000 and then 1,500 pounds at the end of the year on eateries outside. That is ordering food. So as opposed to this, if you really want to save more, what you can do is to try and then consume more home cooked foods, and that can actually save you the cost of having to order food and then paying for delivery or having to wait for food and all of those kind of stuff. So try as much as possible to resort to home cooked foods, which can also help you to save in excess of about 200 to 500 pounds at the end of the year, which also helps you to attain your financial goals at the end of the year. This brings us to the fifth thing that you can actually do to save more this year, and that is to save on transport. Now, if you're driving, the easiest way to go about this to save your transport bill is to try as much as possible to walk, cycle, or sometimes pick public transport if there is a need for you to do so. And so the easiest way to go about this is to actually resort to other forms of transport, which is one of the easiest ways to go about if you really want to save on your transport bill at the end of the year. Now, secondly, what you can do is to download and use apps like Petrol Prices, which also grants you the ability to compare price of fuel within your locality and helps you to choose the best fuel stations to buy from, thereby reducing the amount of money you spend on transport every single month and then empowering you to save more and to invest at the end of the year. Lastly, what you can do to actually save more this year 2026 is to save more water where you can. So one of the easiest ways to actually cut down your monthly variable cost or your bills at the end of the month is to use less water. One of the easiest way to go about this is to resort to the 5-minute shower challenge. And what that actually does is that it limits your shower between 5 to 10 minutes, thereby reducing the amount of liters of water that you consume every single day if you're to shower. And also, the easiest way to actually go about this, that is saving on your water bill, is to actually put your tap off when you're brushing your teeth. Some of these little tiny habits may not actually be really focused on, and so subconsciously we might be losing money without even actually considering them. And then at the end of the year, they pile up and then eat into our finances, thereby leaving very little for us to save and invest. And so of course, if you found value in this video, subscribe to the channel and then like this video, because I'll be shooting several videos down the line on personal finance and on personal development altogether. Thank you for spending time with us, and see you in the next video.